Hello, this is Gray Hughes. This video is actually the March 28th, 2018 live, and the portion on Delphi condensed down. Alright, so let's get started. Again, we're getting to that point where people are bored. So what they do when they're bored, as in every other case, is they start inventing things. I don't know if it's intentional. I mean, it has to be intentional, it seems like, to be honest. I don't see any other way to view it. So, people are talking about a witness recently, and some people do have accurate information on the witness, because I had somebody call me, or want to talk to me, but I can't say who that was. And then it was confirmed by somebody else. All right, and now it's sort of out there online. Okay, but the truth is, in the Delphi case, as we've gone over this a million times, but I'll do it again. The girls were dropped off right here at the parking area. All right, and they were dropped off at, I think it was 1:45, and then they walked this way, just like this, and it's kind of, at this time of year, it's not very thick of woods, right? So they walked this way, and I think right in this area, this is where the suspect may have seen them. I mean, he could have seen them or even encountered them. They talked to this person. Right? Then the girls walked this way. Maybe after encountering him, they were kind of like, what a creep. But Libby's sister, who had dropped them off, had already driven away. So they said, okay, and they just kind of kept going. And then eventually they pretty much just forgot about the suspect. He wasn't a suspect to them. He was just some weird guy. So they get to the bridge, and they walk across the bridge. And right here, Abby's behind Libby, but the pink dot right here, right there, is where Libby was standing when she took the shot of the full bridge. So, on the bridge, you're walking across. Now see this platform right here? That's platform 3, okay? So if you're looking from above, you got 1 here, platform 2 there, and 3 is right there. So in between platform 2 and 3, Libby took a shot all the way across the bridge, all right? And that shot is right here, okay, the one on the right. Now this is somebody, a friend of mine, Beth, went on the bridge, right? And I had her look for a particular vine on the ground. Now you can see right here, see this little vine right there? Right there, this little vine. Well, I had her look for that because I see it here in the image that Libby took of the full bridge. See the vine there? And that's how we knew exactly where that shot was taken. So you see how there's a vine right there. All right? And everything's the same. Even the wood grains, everything's distorted exactly the same. This little broken spot there is right there. So we found the exact spot of where that shot was taken. All right? Now, Libby continues on. At this point, Abby's behind her because you don't see her in front of her on the bridge, right? So it's obvious that Abby's actually back here. So Libby keeps walking, and when she gets to this platform, she's still in front of Abby, goes onto the platform. I think I need to move this L a little bit further back on the platform to about right there. And Libby turns around, so the next shot you're going to see is this angle. Okay, and that is this shot right here. Okay, so when you look back in that direction, this is Abby right here. So these are all shots that were literally taken on the bridge just minutes before they were likely killed. Okay, I mean when I say they were killed, but I mean likely just minutes is how I wanted to phrase that. Okay, so this is platform 1 back here. 2, and Libby right now is on 3 filming back at Abby. All right, So after that shot, so that's the shot right here. There's Abby, and she filmed back that way. They continued on this direction right here, all the way across the bridge. All right, and this is platform 6. So as they walked across, they passed platform 4 right here, and then there's a tree that you see behind the suspect image. It's actually way back there, but when you look at the picture, it seems like it's right there, but it's not. So I'm going to load that one up too. I mean, I know a lot of you have already seen it, but why not? All right, so this is the shot right here. Okay, there's a suspect. And for some reason, nobody's been able to identify this guy or catch him. But see this tree right there? That tree is that's a platform right there. It's way behind that. It's like literally, I mean, look at the picture right there. So that's the platform. So we're going to say that tree is actually, I can actually measure it for you. You know, it's actually, let's see, do feet. It's a little easier to, yeah, look at that. It's 60 something feet behind that platform. However, when you look at the picture, it looks like that tree is right behind it, but it's not, okay? And it's actually looks like that in a video, another video that Beth filmed. That's what it looks, just like this, and it's just sort of one of those illusions when you film low and you've got wide angle lenses, and that's the kind of stuff you get. All right. So they walk all the way across, and the suspect image, that image that I just showed you, was actually taken all the way back here. Like the suspect's here, that tree and platform are way behind that guy, and it doesn't look like that when you look at the picture. But there are literally like 100 railroad ties in that space right there. Because of the angle, how it's shot low, there's tons of them. And so it's hard to even tell what's a shadow or what isn't when he's walking. Okay, now I can actually show you samples of that if you'd like to see it. Are you guys interested in seeing actually somebody walking? A girl named Bonnie Rame was also there with Beth, and she actually walked on there. So look how crazy this is right here. I don't know if you guys can actually see that, but back there, that's the forked tree back there. It looks pretty small on your on the screen. Hopefully you guys can see it. But back there, there's the forked tree, and you can see the platform right next to it. And there's Bonnie walking. All right. And then see this little, yeah, hopefully you guys can see this. Can you guys make out that little white nodule that's on the side rail right there? I wonder if there's a way to zoom in on this. No, it's volume. Don't want to do that. Let's see. I don't use this program very much. Let's see. Anyways, can you guys see that little white nodule right there? Okay, you can see it? All right. So that's kind of one of the keys that me and Beth figured out, was that you really can't even see that white nodule if you're anywhere else other than the end of the bridge, near the end of the bridge. Okay, and so let's go back to that suspect image. Now see right here? Here's that little white thing right there. So hopefully you guys can see that. There's the platform and the forked tree right there. All right, so let's go back to that. There's a little white thing, platform, forked tree. So this is how we figured out that Abby and Libby with the camera, was off the end of the bridge when she filmed the suspect, okay? Now the suspect hustled across the bridge, and he was really catching up to, Abby basically is almost off the bridge, and just a small little portion of her coat is captured in one of the still frames released. Okay, so there's my dog shaking again. So there's a tiny little portion of her jacket on the image. Now, at first, I didn't think that was what that was. I thought it was some kind of pixelation. But when I actually examined it, zoomed in, that color is actually in the frame itself, not just on the edge. So then I realized, wow, okay, I was mistaken. See, I'm not afraid to admit that, right? So the thing is there it was, and I actually, had a conversation with one of the law enforcement people over there, and it wasn't like they didn't say, yes, that's what that is. They said, they didn't deny it, though, in a conversation. It was like, so you think that's part of her job? Okay, great. They agreed, basically. Okay, so Abby is almost off the end of the bridge. Then Libby is off the end of the bridge already. Okay, then Abby comes off the end of the bridge, and then the suspect comes right behind him. All right, now I know that there was other things said. Those are rumors and stuff out there. So, I don't want to get into that. I would love it if law enforcement would actually release the other audio that's within the time frame, and hell, just even the video of the suspect, even if it's just a few frames, whatever, and any other audio until down the hill was said. Okay, that's what I'd like to see. I think it could help. There's a lot of people out there that are visual people, and seeing motion like that could really make a big difference. All right, I think sometimes law enforcement likes to keep things not. I mean, because ask yourself this. See, a lot of times they say, "Oh yeah, we were trying to keep it because only the killer would know something." All right, but listen. Yeah, keep the crime scene stuff to yourself, but the part about what was said walking doesn't mean anything other than someone else. You could hear the voice more. You might be able to identify it easier. If we could just see a little bit of the movement, even if it's 5-6 frames, that might jog somebody. Anything, okay? It couldn't hurt. Now, keep the crime scene stuff to yourself, because that is... only the killer is going to know that, right? Okay. So that's my opinion on that part. All right. So the suspect, he's about right there, and he really collapses the distance quickly. And then at the end of the bridge, he says down the hill to these people. I would say it just like that because I can do it. But then I don't want people to go, oh, see, look, wow, great. Look, he's got the goatee, and he sounded just like, There's lots of morons out there that make videos about stuff like that. Okay, so down the hill, right there. So there's actually a private drive. After you go down the hill, there's a private drive right here. You can see that in the Julie Melvin video if you ever go look at it. Private drive, and then there's a second hill after you get to the private drive that goes down to the level where the creek is. Okay, then you walk back here, right? And this is kind of where I figured out, wow. I figured out where the crime scene was based on a bent tree, and I think it's this tree right here. Yeah, this tree right there, and just helicopter footage and other things, and I was able to find it, and it made sense because look how shallow the water is right there. Right? Now everywhere else it's a little bit deeper and greener, right? But right where the suspect took these girls, or maybe they tried to run for it, we don't really know that part. But right here, it's easy to cross. There's actually a video out there by Greeno, Anthony Greeno, of all people, if you can believe that, right? So the thing is he made a video that he actually does sort of a reenactment, and he has two girls walking across the creek, and they could do it. Maybe the water's cold, whatever. They made it across the creek, and their bodies were found in this area, right in this little square that I drew right here. Okay? Now, there's lots of rumors about how they were found. Now, the phone call that I got was that there was and people are commenting on Facebook today about, was that the witness who saw the suspect in this area after going through the cemetery. So the killer left this way and through the cemetery, okay? And so that's the thing, is they were seen, I believe, going this direction. Because if you're the killer, you're sure as hell not going to walk back this way towards the parking area where people might see you, right? You're going to come up and go away. So I think the witness saw them going this direction, all right? So I am 100% like, okay, 99.9% sure that the witness saw the person after they had gone through the cemetery and were heading away, okay? So all this other stuff about, maybe there was a second witness somewhere else, but that witness didn't see the person over here by the parking area, all right? That never happened. Now, unless there was a viewing of the killer on a different day or earlier in the day, okay? Yeah, and the thing is like what I just said a second ago, the person who called me, they would actually know the answer to this, so I don't even consider it an opinion anymore, all right? So, as a lot of people speculated early on, was that the killer might have gone through the cemetery to leave. And those people were right, okay? And that did seem logical at the time, too, that it would go up this way. So I made a video, a couple months back, that he could have either gone this way, walked through the woods this way and merged back onto the path and went out that way. A whole bunch of different, he could have gone. One of the more intriguing exit points that we had thought about was that he walked across the bridge, okay, and then killed the girls, and then he went back this way and then walked on the continuation of this old railroad track through these woods right here. Okay, and I think does Street View work here? No. Too bad. Nope, Street View doesn't work. So yeah, it's like you could actually walk through all that property. Man, this mouse isn't really working good with Google Earth. Yeah, like if you parked right there and walked through there, but it doesn't sound like that's even an option now. Because if the witness was, the suspect was seen by a witness over in this area, I mean, if you parked over there, it'd almost be impossible. You'd have to, cross the creek again, go through all these woods and walk over there. There's a bridge over here that you could cross, and then you'd have to kind of walk down all these streets or go through somebody's field and get all the way over there. So at the time, it seemed like a cool idea, but it's not really that great. Oh, look at that. There's radar. I always see radar on, like, Randy Gravitz's page. I'm always like, wow, really? Yeah, I mean, thing is, I appreciate Randy Gravitz that he puts out videos, but they're just absolutely nonsensical, the stuff that goes on in them. And it's said. I mean, you guys all remember the original, well, there's no way the girls could have crossed that creek, or the killer, because the killer would have died of hypothermia, using Newton's law of gravity. And it's like, wait, Newton's law of gravity and hypothermia, how does that play into it? Okay, great. Yeah, so it's funny. I mean, I'm glad that he goes out and makes a lot of videos for everybody and so forth. But, he's also done a lot of strange things in the case, like believing people that are absolutely ludicrous. Okay. The truth is the killer went all the way across the bridge, and I don't know if he, maybe parked, walked through the cemetery, and then he walked around that way that Randy had in one of his videos where, here's the cemetery. He walked to the cemetery and he walked around this way and kind of went over here. But it would be absolutely ludicrous, okay, for the suspect to come from this side, pass, and then turn around, because he would have no clue if there was somebody like right here walking. Now, if you're over in this area, you could keep gauging, right? So here it is. Let's say he's right here and the girls come by. At this point, he already knows that there is absolutely nobody in front of the girls because he's been there for a while, all right? So you've got these, the girls walking by, and he's right here. And they walk, and they're walking, and now look at this. Now picture this. This is a complete straightaway right here. So then they start going around this turn here. So the suspect's walking and walking and walking and walking. And he could stop probably right here, right on that bend, and then turn around and look back and see if anybody else was coming at this point. So he would see, okay, nobody's coming, nobody's coming, nobody's coming. He'd keep kind of gauging, and then he saw that the girls went onto the bridge, right? And then about right here, he looked back, saw that nobody was coming, and he knew nobody was in front of him. Then he turns around and hustles this direction, the girls across, and I don't know when the girls saw him on the bridge, but I bet you it was pretty, like when they're about halfway across, they started going, oh God, I don't want to go by him. So they thought they would go to the other side, because I think it'd be really spooky to cross somebody, past somebody on the bridge that you may be scared of, right? So they went to the other side, hoping he would just walk by, and it didn't happen, okay? But the thing is he could see tactically, like right here, if anybody was coming, and then they went this way, and he knew nobody's behind him and nobody is in front of him. So he just hustled across, got him down, and look how, quote, lucky he was, because just not even that long later, you had the girl Cheyenne and her friends that were actually out there literally, 35 minutes later, all right? Yeah, so for me, it makes absolutely no sense to be on that side of the bridge and then cross and then, come back, okay? Because there could be somebody literally, just a little bit back in those woods and come hustling across, and then you're busted, okay? Now, I guess he could have just done the whole, he walks past, sees somebody's coming, then he keeps on walking straight. I think what he was doing, however, was just waiting for the opportunity of everybody fitting into this exact trap that he thought up. That he would wait, nobody's in front, nobody's in front, nobody's in front. They're going onto the bridge, there's nobody behind, they're going on the bridge. Okay, boom! That's how it worked. Okay, and to me it just seems really obvious, So all the other theories, I think he came from the other side, it's just to be contrarian because it doesn't make as much sense, all right? So what's better to do is go with what's more likely. Is it possible, though, that the suspect was started on the southeast side and passed and came back? Sure. It's just literally like 10% chance, maybe even less. And the other one's way more likely, 90%. Yeah, I think he was just there hunting to kill. Okay? See, a lot of people do it was a hit. Derek did drugs, so there's some kind... Listen, that stuff's insane, all right? Now, again, is it possible? Sure, just like aliens from Zeta Minor could have actually done it, but I don't have proof yet. I'm still looking for it. Whoever did this is an absolute wacko, right? And a serial killer type. And that's why the FBI was called in. They didn't call the FBI in because it was a typical murder. They called the FBI in because of the way the girls looked when they found them. There was something unusual about it. Okay, and that is why the FBI was called in. All right, now if this was some, crazy little, drug deal gone wrong crap, that's not going to happen. All right, and I think this guy just scouted out the area, was prepared, and just disappeared. Nobody seems to have a clue who this person is. Somebody named Glenn just sent me some PayPal money, which is a hell of a lot better than Super Chat. I'll tell you. See that little dollar sign at the bottom of the chat there? That's crazy. YouTube takes 30%, right? Then you get taxed on whatever's left. I mean, that's ludicrous. So if somebody, let's just pretend somebody sent you $100 on Super Chat, you might get 40. Don't you think that's weird? Yeah. Anyways, highway robbery, if you ask me. Let's see. Yeah. So do you guys have any questions about this? Because that's kind of really where everything is for me. There isn't really. I don't get into the. Well, did you see that one Facebook post by so-and-so's sister-in-law? She said something about... Oh, come on. Jesus. None of that stuff's panned out to be worth anything at this point. All right? Right. That's why I think, Strawberry, if somehow we could just see the video and hear some of the other comments that were made that I know happened on the tape, that I think it could actually help. All right. You know, and I actually talked to somebody over there once, and I tried to convince him that because I feel like I can see things differently than other people. Yeah, I don't do the crazy, if I zoom in on pixels, I can see a mole on his eye. Listen, that's all crap. You know, the stuff that Randy's saying, I'm zooming in, I got this. Listen, that's bogus, right? Let's look at. This is the truth of it. You see this video right here that I'm looking at? This is the same camera type too, right? So what you're looking at here is about as clear as you're going to get, right? So the law enforcement zoomed in on that. There's only like 60 pixels making up the face, all right? Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm going to open up Adobe Premiere here. You can see how I do stuff behind the scenes. Just as long as it doesn't bore the hell out of you. You know, I don't want to... Who's Pink? I don't even see anybody named Pink typing on here. Oh, Abby's Pink. God, what kind of a stupid name? Delete that person. Get him out of here. Jesus, what an idiot. Yeah. I actually thought Eric Alter was pretty funny on the on his videos that he made, to be honest with you. Let's see. Yeah, I mean the one that he made where look at, you guys probably all thought, oh wow, look at he's really drunk. Like when he was in his house and he was supposedly like he's a bus driver and he was just getting wasted and talking about, I gotta go pick up the school kids and everything. And then a minute later he lifts up something, all these knives fall out of it. I mean, come on, that was just sort of like dark humor because of all the crap that he gets. I mean, if he turns out to be, let's just say somehow, miraculously, he's the killer, he'd be the dumbest person in the history of the world. All right, so let's... All right, so this is actually not too small of a video. Let's see what the dimensions of it are. Okay, so this video that Beth took is actually 1080p, right? I mean that's high quality stuff right here. So that's what we're looking at right here. All right, so if I was going to actually get it to fit in here, I'd have to make it a lot smaller because of the aspect ratio of the underlying scene that I have in here, okay? But now I can actually zoom in, right? Now, this is kind of what law enforcement had to do here. All right, I'm going to just fast forward it to the point where she's about where the suspect was, okay? See how she's walking? Can you guys see this? Okay, so the suspect image shot was literally about right... Okay, about right here, right where she's at right now. Okay, now the original video looked like this. I gotta zoom out. Hold on a second. All right, so that's what law enforcement was looking at, like right there, this shot. Okay, it's almost exactly like this, just again to the left about 3 or 4 feet, and then Bonnie would have to be towards the middle another foot or two. Okay, then you'd see the little white nodule to her right. All right, so what they did was they took an image about this quality right here, and you see, like, there, let's say you put a sort of a hat on the head there and a jacket, and then here we go. So here's what law enforcement did, right? Again, the camera's over to the left, so that tree isn't in the right position in this shot, okay? But I kind of want them to go back over there and do it exactly right. About 3 feet in from the right, off the bridge, 2 or 3 feet, film out, and then have the person walking be about 2 or 3 feet from the center, from the edge of the, see that? Like this person, the killer here, he's like 2 or 3 feet from the side rail right there. All right, so here we go. This is what law enforcement did. They took a still frame from the video, kind of like this, right? All right, now I've got a shot here. They made sure to crop out any other person that might be in there, right? So you got that, and then maybe over here in Photoshop, and keep in mind, this is 1080p, right? I don't even know if that's what Libby had on her phone. We haven't been given that information. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm actually putting that in Photoshop. All right, so now we're in Photoshop. Now let's start zooming in and playing with pixels. Oh, wow. Wow, now I can't see a damn thing. You see, like, literally, look at these. These are pixels right here. So her face is made up of, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you know, let's say 30 pixels across. There's nothing there. All right, so when people sit there and say, oh, well, what you can do then is you can make it bigger and then do this and that and the other thing. Look it, that's bogus, right? There is very little information left once you zoom in and you have pixels. Yeah. So let's try to do some, see what a lot of people do is they'll take an image like this, and what they do is they'll increase the size, right? So you go image size, and instead of 72, you go to like 300 right here. Or even like, hell, you do like 500. Right, so now the image is getting bigger, so let's do 1,000. Right, so now that image is 1,000, like literally 10 times bigger. Right? And now when you zoom in, there isn't that pixelation going on because it hasn't happened yet. Now when you get in, see, this is where Randy starts editing right here. Okay, now do you see that nose right there, everybody? Look at that. There's something a little darker right there. Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, you see that? Look at right there. That's got to be some sort of a mole or a tumor coming out of the face. Do you see that? And look, that doesn't exist. That's an eye, right? Like, would you even know that that was an eye? Like, if I went like this, does that look like an eye to you? No, right? So, but when you zoom out, that's exactly what that is. It's a shadow of her right eye, right? And then look around the hand there. Oh my God, what's all this weird? Oh, must be an alien of some sort. You know what? You know what's interesting that it'll do when you look at this picture right here is, see right here, this bright area where the sun hit her skin. That's exactly what we get on the suspect image. All right, exactly the same thing. Which is, yeah, it's interesting. But you see how, like, when you zoom in, you don't get more detail, you get less. Like, look at that right there. If I was just to print that out, what would you think that was right there? Like, look at that. Like, what is that right there? You actually get a better view from further out. So what do you see right now when you look at this picture? I see, and yes, right. It's something right out of X-Files. Right? But then, when you zoom out and you're about this far away, it looks reasonable, right? Like, oh, okay, that's her head looking down and that kind of thing. And that did look a little bit like Donald Trump. Man, you're not kidding around. Right. You see, and this has been a problem in this case since the beginning, right? Everybody's talking about, oh, they think they're these world-renowned experts that if only the FBI had their skills, by God, this would all be figured out, right? Now, what I do think is possible is that somebody else may be able to see sort of how it's all put together differently than they do. Meaning looking at the whole video and notice something that they didn't notice. All right? I mean, I actually get embarrassed when I go over and watch Randy's videos and look at all these people going, good stuff, man, good stuff. And it's like, wow, really? Jesus. All right, so here we go. That's actually what the suspect pretty much looked like in the image, but I think that she actually had a lesser quality video, probably a 720 video, something like that, right? And so it's already going to be even a lesser quality than this video. But from the very beginning, people start going like this. Okay, I mean, you guys remember when they zoomed in on the wood, right? And went, oh, you see, look at that. That's a sword right there, right? You see that? That's a sword, and we've got the blade. It's laying across the ground there. And look, see, there's the leather grip, and then this is the other part of the metal that hangs down below. So it's actually a sword from, like, Lord of the Rings, you see? And, right, okay. Well, that's what was going on, and that's the absolute honest to God truth. Now, here's something interesting, just even in this Bonnie Raitt footage. You see this right here? These little blades of grass that are kind of sticking up on the right lower corner there. See, those are actually in the suspect image, too. Go back and report in. You can let them know that, yes, I don't appreciate their crazy theories, like Doug and his little, merry band of morons who spend their entire time coming up with how to hate the family more, It's ridiculous, all right? So if you guys... All I'm saying is from the very beginning of this case, I've never seen more wild crap other than in the Kanika Jenkins case, okay? That case just had a larger volume of people seeing insane stuff. Yeah. So the thing is, over there in that, Doug's group, all they do is talk about the family and how they're probably related to it, the crime, and I don't know. It's just really, it's embarrassing. And Randy, he just started. This is all gossip stuff now, right? Randy started a group called something about lies and truth and stuff, right? And I got kicked out of there right away because everybody in that group are the people who lied the whole time. And what's funny is, see, my flow theory is the same theory that I had since February 22nd. Okay? It's the same theory. I've just refined it to precise locations. It's exactly the same. And so now everybody accepts that flow of the crime as how it went. Across the bridge, down the hill, across the creek, like that, right? But for literally, I'd say 6 months, I was attacked by like a mob of nut jobs who completely just wouldn't have any of it. They kept saying, no, look at Gray. I mean, do you remember this stuff? I mean, I'm just angry just remembering it right now. You can probably hear it in my voice. This is what they would say. This is how stupid this is. Look at, you see how the girls, they were found right here, and you got the shallow creek right here? They would say that the suspect got him on this side, then walked him all the way back across, who cares about risking the fact that you'd run into somebody else coming up the bridge and then walk all the way around this way, okay, to get here only just to avoid the water? Really? Give me a break. Jesus. Well, how do you know that didn't happen? Well, because look at it. Just look. I mean, just look at it. He said down the hill on this side of the bridge. Okay, so he went down the hill, then you had him go down the hill, then back up the hill, then over the bridge again, and then over here. Look at the suspect image and the word down the hill are very close to each other. Yeah. Well, I'm not actually that upset. I'm just on one of my rolls, you know. That's the truth. So, I mean, just try to picture that. Oh, yeah, and then they would say stuff like, well, down the hill wasn't said until... Oh, yeah, what was that one guy? He said that he had them walk all the way back over this way. And then once they were over here, he said down the hill, and then they went down to where they were found right here. That's nuts, okay? Yeah, I don't mind Randy as a person, but, you know, he's treated me really poorly because he believes stuff like, you know, Julie Melvin, you know, what she says about me and stuff. And the truth is Julie Melvin actually, somebody sent me a whole conversation she had where she was saying how she was using me to get information. And then when I called her out on it, she said, well, she only was mad that somebody shared the private messages, not the fact that she was actually doing that. Okay, so I blocked her. And then she's angry about that. And then also, there's just more to it. But see, that's all the sort of this weird stuff that goes behind the scenes in a case. But I haven't really been dealing with that much lately. This is just all stuff that I'm remembering now. I remember the first week, I think it was Daily Mail. They had the crime scene in the wrong place. They had it like right over here, you know, and they were wrong. And then people were talking about a shed, and there's this little shed that you could see right here. And it was like, oh, wow, you know. But then it turns out that wasn't even related whatsoever. It was all the way over here. So you got that part. Yeah, so there's that shed, and there's some stuff over here, like by the parking area. These buildings, like a shed there. Yeah, I don't think the shed has anything to do with anything. This one over here. I mean, I remember early on it seemed like, oh wow, we thought we were so sleuthy filming. Oh, like look at that! It's a shed. That's got to be it. And it turns out it had nothing to do with anything. Well, let's put it this way. I don't know if it doesn't, but it's very unlikely that it has anything to do with anything. I don't know if they looked into it or not. I'm not part of the investigation. There's 2 of them. Blue Gypsy. 2 girls were killed. But anyways, I apologize for going off on right there. But, you know, it doesn't matter where I go or what group I join. You know, it always ends up being where I get kicked out of it in this case, because I don't let people, you know, or I debate, you know, like when I say don't let, people can say whatever the hell they want. But I'll debate with them, and then they get angry because I dare to challenge what they're saying.